welcome to the show. You should know my voice by now. John Riggs here with Joe Crowley. I hate my voice on this thing. Hopefully it's just the recording.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's the recording.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Everyone hates their voice if they don't know what they sound like, if they've never recorded themselves talking before. It's weird because you hear yourself when you talk, and it's like, you think like that too, you know?
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
my voice. That's me.
Yeah, that's me to me. But then, I mean, I've been recording shitty songs since I was like 16, so I've learned to know my shitty voice.
you can hear yourself from across the room.
Yeah, so I know plus I'm pretty loud. Echoes when I'm in the rooms.
You yell at yourself in your room?
Yeah, just to hear the echo bounce back.
I'm recording today in the spare bedroom. I've recorded in every room in the house except the bathroom so far. So I thought I would try the spare bedroom today.
Can't wait till next week.
Well, yeah, we'll see. All right, well, whatever. Before we jump into this week's topics, how are you? Like, how are you doing? I feel like we never just talk anymore.
I know, right? I'm all right, I guess. A little sore, feeling a little bit old.
Why are you sore?
Well, I went out. Well, I had a wedding this weekend,
That's
and
fun.
I was just like, I'm gonna get fucked up, you know?
You just decided it?
Yeah, I feel like it's been forever since I was just like, I'm gonna get fucked up.
And don't care about the consequences.
Right. Probably a horrible time to do it at a wedding. But I reached my goal, and it was this wedding. They had this reception. It was in Oakland at the Pittsburgh Athletic Club. It was actually really nice, and they have a bowling alley beneath it. So like they had dancing from or whatever. The reception went till 10, and then from 10 to midnight they had bowling.
Did you go bowling? Yeah,
I was like, fuck yeah, I'll go bowling. So everyone's like walking down to the bowling alley, and these people hit the button to get on the elevator. And they're like, oh, you can just walk down there. And the elevator opens and they leave. I was like, fuck that. I'm getting on the elevator. I'm not walking down the steps. So me and Jenna get on the elevator, go down. It's like a dead end. I look left, and there's like this door that says employees only. And I look right, and there's like this big hallway. I was like, it has to be that way. So I walk around the corner, and it's like pitch dark. So I'm like looking for the light switch, feeling against the walls. And then, like, I turn into the right-hand corner, and I start reaching for it's like, it has to be there. Where else would it be?
Right, it has to be within arm's length.
So I'm, like, reaching, and I reached too far. I tripped over a fan and just, like, went, like, timber straight down, all my weight. And I, like, landed on my ribs on a table, but, like, it wasn't below the rib cage, so, like, I couldn't fold. So, like, I, like, went up over the table, landed on my head, and then I just, like, rolled around like, ugh! Jenna comes walking over, turns the light on right away. It was outside the room. And
the only two in the room?
And I'm just laying there. She's like, get up. I'm like, I am hurt. And she's like, you better get up.
Were these your friends or her friends, or what was this?
Yeah, I guess it was my family. It was, I guess my stepsister, my dad's wife's daughter.
Okay.
It's weird to call her that.
Well, at least it was your family that you were an idiot.
Yeah, it's fun.
You didn't embarrass her too much.
It's fun because I started going on vacation with them when my dad started going out with her. I was in college, and I just didn't give a fuck what they thought, you know? I don't care. So I just went down there, and I was me, you know?
Yeah. You weren't trying to make a good impression.
Right. When my grandma's there, you know, I have to, like, tone it down, and my aunts are there. But I was just down there living life. They actually all like me. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
What about yourself?
Well, that's funny. My back's been killing me. I slept on the couch a few nights ago, and it's been messed up ever since.
Getting old. Why are you sleeping on the couch?
I don't know. I couldn't fall asleep. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I like to be by myself on the couch with the TV on. Yeah,
man. I've been struggling with sleeping since I've been sick, man. I have like some kind of weird bout of insomnia going on.
Right. I think it's because I don't do anything during the day.
Yeah. Is it nice down there? It's like 70 degrees up here.
Yeah, it's nice. I was playing basketball today.
It's fucking weird, man.
I know. But whatever. Alright, so we're both physical messes, but emotionally we should be good. I mean, we're back off the edge. They got us back. We're contenders again. The Steelers are back.
Yeah, I mean, it always feels great to beat Baltimore, you know?
Yep.
And it's like a whole world of difference between the weeks. Like, I think sometimes it's a shame of how much I actually invest myself in the sports. Like, it's big. It has a big say in my mood, you know? Like, one day, if they lose, I'm just like, fuck. I mean, I guess we've been lucky lately in the past decade anyway, like 2005, 2008.
Yeah.
We won championships, but only one team wins. So,
Right.
like, when we lose to Tebow in the playoffs or get fucking destroyed by the Flyers, it's like my reality comes crashing down around me. I'm like,
Yeah, but like because we've been good and been competitive, like the losses hurt more. Like if we sucked, if we were like the Browns, I wouldn't care if we lose. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
would be resigned to it. But like, I don't know.
I don't know. 7-5, that's a big win. Like, I think when we talked 2 weeks ago, I think we just said we needed to win one out of those 3 games.
Yeah.
Assumed it would have been against Cleveland,
Right. Not on the road in Baltimore. But whatever.
where they won 15 straight.
Yeah.
But we shit the bed in Cleveland, so I had a feeling of urgency going into it. You know, like, I was nervous about this one. And I know I said we didn't have a chance, but
Right. I can't imagine how they felt if we were so nervous. But yeah, like you said, I was excited, big win, and it definitely changed my mood. I was listening to the radio shows Monday morning, listening to some interviews. I even checked out Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith talk about the Steelers. That's how much I was interested in Steelers.
dude, I fucking hate Skip Bayless. He is the scum of the earth. What a fucking hack.
It's funny though, because like now he does that show with Stephen A. Smith, so it's like he's like the respectable one now. You know what I mean?
Stephen A. Smith is a douche too.
Yeah, he's always talking about. I don't know, but
You might as well put Rick Riley on there.
Rick Riley,
Fucking cunt.
He's an idiot. He steals stories and.
What an idiot.
Well, maybe last week, we were discussing the optimists, their blind optimism or their faith in the Steelers, that the Steelers can do anything, and that can be annoying. This victory, was this a victory for the optimists? Like, were they rewarded for their optimism, or was it a reality check for us realists, or what was it?
I don't know. I still feel like we have a long way to go. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Cincinnati looks good, and we knew we had a good team, right? We've been saying it since the beginning. Did you say 10-6 from the beginning, right? You're looking.
I think so.
I
don't recall.
Yeah,
it's documented somewhere.
I said 11-5. You said 10-6. You're looking like you probably might be a little bit more right, but I think it had a lot more to do with where we are versus where Baltimore is as a team. It's easier to have. I think it's easier to have blind faith in the team than try to examine the truth. I believe the truth for anything and everything. I mean, I think that's true for everything.
Yeah.
I think it's a cop-out. I mean, you're not going to criticize them because of what – I mean, they're doing something wrong. It's not good. They had 8 turnovers. I just think it's easier to just go and say, just put all your faith in the Steelers or anything.
Well, I think especially this year because it seems like it's up and down every week. You can't get a beat on them. We could easily go out and have 8 turnovers again next week, and I could totally expect that happening or see that happening, even though we did so well last week. And who saw this week coming after that debacle in Cleveland? You know, so like you said, faith is easier, but I think it's especially easier this year.
Yeah, because who knows what's going to happen? You might as well err on that side. I don't know. I guess it's just not part of who I am. I guess this is me backstepping a little bit.
That's okay.
I
You've done
think
that a few times.
Yeah, I don't think I should. I probably shouldn't be as judgmental to those who choose to just take the easy way out because I take the easy way all the time.
A lot of the time, yes. Sir.
Yeah. So I don't know. That being said, the Steelers are a team, and they're one team that should have blind faith of anybody, you know? Like,
right, yeah, they show up all the time.
The Patriots, maybe, or someone like that, you know? Teams that always win.
Right.
It's a lot easier to have blind faith in them than
it is
people.
To have in the Pirates or the Browns.
Right. So, I mean, I guess they've earned that to a respect.
Well, if you're backstepping, I'll backstep a little bit too. I'll admit I was wrong about Charlie Batch, I guess. Given the Cleveland game, like I said, you can't really blame me for it. But it's funny, though, and I guess this is why I'm sitting in my bedroom and talking to you about it, and I'm not coaching the Steelers. Because last week, during Tomlin's press conference, they asked him, when he said Batch was starting, they said, well, why? You know, not so many words.
Yeah.
They said, why? And he says, based on what I've seen in the past, Charlie Batch is going to be the starter. And goddamn if Mike Tomlin isn't a beautiful genius.
Yeah, man. We were talking about giving Tomlin the benefit of the doubt last week, and I think we might have finally got something right. They keep on fighting, you know, and that's a testament to Tomlin getting his team ready to play, and they were ready to play this week.
There were some errors. I mean, it was a good game, and not to nitpick anything, but all the errors were comical ones. That air ball out of the end zone to the wide open Mike Wallace.
Yeah, I don't know. They're comical now that we won, but I don't know. Chuck, I don't blame you for. I think we had no chance. I said we had no chance going into it, not just because of Batch, just because of the way the game was played now. You know, 2 weeks ago we played Baltimore, and I said we had a chance, and changed my mind after that Cleveland game, you know? And I think it's important to realize that teams do have bad weeks every once in a while, and sometimes that's not indicative of what they really are. I don't know. I keep on going to New England, I guess, because I live there. But New England lost to Arizona, you know? There has been some bad losses by a lot of different teams. The good ones, like the Falcons or the Texans, don't lose those games, but what does it really say about you? Not really.
That doesn't really matter. I mean, the Colts used to go undefeated, and they would never win the Super Bowl. I've never seen the Falcons do much in the playoffs. The Texans never even make the playoffs. But like you said, I mean, the Patriots and the Steelers win championships. So same with Green Bay, you know. So
right, and the difference is they all have quarterbacks. But yeah, I mean, it only matters if you make it to the playoffs. And it's been dispelled, this wild card and bye kind of stuff. Like, Green Bay won it from the 6th seed. We won it from the 6th seed. The Giants won it from the 6th seed. I mean, it's not impossible. As long as you get into the playoffs, if you have a good quarterback and you get on a roll, you're going to win. Like you said, the first half came across to me like we weren't wrong about it.
No, it was nerve-wracking. Things were playing out the way we expected them.
Yeah, like you said, there was some really sloppy play, and Batch threw for like a little over 50 yards. He had like 57 yards passing. At the beginning, he was underthrowing it, you know, skipping it to him or overthrowing it.
And then if he did hit him in the hands, Mike Wallace would drop it.
I was pissed about that, but
I hate Mike Wallace. I hope he never gets paid. I mean, I don't care. If he can change my mind, I'm open to him changing my mind. But right now, I'm not a fan.
Well, I don't know, man. I'm not going to get out. I think that Tomlin is doing it wrong with Mike Wallace.
What do you mean? What should he do?
He seems like a guy that needs his ego stroked a bit, you know? Like, Tomlin needs to do the opposite of what he's doing. He went out in the media and demoted him.
Co-starter?
Yeah, whatever. What does that mean?
Whatever that means.
Right.
Two wide receivers start every game anyway. What does it matter?
Well, Brown was one.
Oh, so it was one and then, well, whatever.
But yeah, so this is the NFL. There's going to be guys that need their ego stroked and inflated sometimes, and when things aren't working out, and some guys can take the benching, like Roethlisberger. If you ever benched Roethlisberger, like Kurt Warner or something, these guys respond to that kind of controversy. And I think like football and it's like basketball sometimes. Baseball too. I mean, some players you just don't respond well to the controversy, like A-Rod, you know?
Yeah, he's not good under pressure.
So you have to like pet him and make him be like, "Oh, that's good, man. You're great. You're great.
Yeah, it's
You're
okay.
great."
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like Wallace is one of those players. Does that make you a weak person? I don't know, maybe, but I feel like he is physically gifted. He is capable of being a good to great receiver. We have him this year. We can win a championship this year if we can get Ben back healthy. And it's the coach's job to make that player the best he can do. And right now, I don't think Tomlin's doing that. That, like you said, that one drop was infuriating.
But is it Tomlin's responsibility to do that?
Yeah. But what else is his job then? I mean,
but I'm saying, like, that one player, would that sacrifice his standing or the coach's standing with the rest of the team, maybe? If he's like, oh, look what he's doing with Mike. Poor Mike, who sat out the training camp. We need to rub his shoulders.
I think it would be against Tomlin's personality, you know? And maybe it's just not in Tomlin's DNA to do that. But
yeah. Well, yeah, maybe like there's got to be an assistant coach or somebody who can go up and say, you know.
Yeah, or something. And then even if you don't want to don't say anything at all about him being demoted and stuff, and just say we have confidence in Mike. That's what he says about everybody anyway. You know, we have confidence that he's the player that we always thought he was.
Mendenhall didn't even dress.
Well, I don't care about Mendenhall because he sucks.
He's not helping. I don't care about his feelings.
But Wallace,
Mike can help.
Wallace has a chance to be a difference maker. With Wallace, you need him out there to clear out the middle. If you put Wallace deep, you put Brown on the post, Miller's wide open in the middle of the field because everyone's chasing them.
Miller, I read something, he's only like a couple yards behind Wallace for total yards. He has the most receptions, most touchdowns, and just a little bit behind for total yards for the season.
In the second half, I really felt like it opened up for Batch. Yeah. And I think one of the big reasons was that I know we had that rookie guard in there or whatever. Because Cologne was out, they moved Pouncey, Legursky to center, Pouncey to guard, and then they had that rookie in there. Yeah. And like for Adams. And I think they were helping him out with Miller a lot. And it felt like in the second half, all of a sudden Miller started catching, or at the end of the first half, we went down there. He had that one big play for the field goal where then Wallace was wide open and we got the field goal. But like I felt like soon as we gave him that outlet, trusted the offensive line a little bit, we were able to get that extra receiver out there, and I think that made a world of difference. I mean, he must have went into someone must have said something to Batch, man, in the locker room, and being like, dude, Chuck, this is all you got, man.
This is it.
This is the end of your career.
Show us what you got, man.
And he came out, that was like a swan song, you know?
Oh, yeah, that drive, he just marched right down their throat there at the end. I would be embarrassed. I mean, as proud as I am of Wallace and our team for performing, I would be equally as embarrassed if I was a Baltimore fan or a Baltimore player for that matter.
Well,
but that said, like how much was it? Us performing or them sucking?
Well, I think a lot of credit should go to our defense. Our defense has played great. Now, I mean, going when we had Roethlisberger, and now when we don't, I think they've even stepped up more. It's been 7 straight games where we've held an opponent under 300 yards. That's a fucking good stat. In the combination with Flacco fucking blows. He's terrible.
He's a bum.
Baltimore will never win a championship with Flacco.
No, not in this day and age.
But the defense looks like they're shaping up. I mean, it sucks that Taylor went down because I feel like he's really turned the corner too.
Right.
But
is he out for next week? Or
yeah.
What's wrong with
him? Officially, he had a fractured bone in his ankle or something. So he's officially out this week, and they said at least 2 weeks, but it might be longer. But he doesn't need surgery or anything. But still, Allen looked okay.
Yeah, he's good.
So
serviceable.
Right. Paul Malu's back. He didn't
I think this might be blasphemous, but the defense does like weird shit when Polamalu's in there. And that's good if he's in there every week and can be like innovative and be the wild card. But if he only comes around once every couple weeks, that has to throw a wrench into their chemistry or their game plan, or I don't know what it is. But
yeah, I wonder how they approach that. I wonder how much it's like just Troy. Everyone else do the same exact thing,
yeah.
and then you go and run around.
You go do something better.
Here's a wild idea I just came up with.
Okay.
Like, for nickel, obviously you want Polamalu in there. But I feel like it's kind of like a Harrison thing going on with him. Harrison finally looks like he's starting to turn the corner. He's still not who he was.
Got that fumble.
He got that fumble. That was a big play. That cannot be
underestimated. That was the biggest play of the game.
Yeah.
That interception in the end zone.
Yeah, huge play. And he was starting to get to the quarterback early in that game. And he got there a couple times in the Cleveland game, too. It's a little promising. Even the announcers were saying that he says that he's feeling better, which is good. But if, say, on nickel, instead of bringing in the fourth cornerback, because now that Taylor's out, they have out Cortez Allen, and then the other dude. Who's the other dude? I don't know. But Brown is the third cornerback, who will now come in for like nickel and dime. But
what's your crazy idea?
I say put Polamalu in there, and put
as a defensive back,
as not a safety. Put the dude who are there two Allens? I think there's Will Allen.
Yeah, there's Will Allen and Cortez Allen.
Right. So put Will Allen back there with Clark, and then put Polamalu out just roaming instead of going to the fourth cornerback who's like a second-year dude. But what the fuck do I know?
Yeah, whatever. We don't know anything.
No.
It's a good idea, though.
Yeah, because I think Will Allen's been playing really well, man.
Right, yeah, they're all good. Well, anyway, so we won. That's good. Who do we got next? San Diego.
Yeah, that scares the shit out of me, man.
How can that scare you?
Because we've lost to who? Oakland, Tennessee,
and Cleveland.
In Cleveland, those are terrible, terrible
the worst
losses.
Teams in the league.
Like,
but I feel like we just got done talking about it. I have no way to predict what's going to happen from one moment to the next.
Yeah, I'm done. I don't even want to say it. Yeah, I don't want to say who's going to win.
Say hopefully we win.
Because Rivers is dick. Did you watch the end of that game?
Yeah, he's an asshole.
What a horrible fucking play. How do you do that? What? I don't understand. Like, I didn't understand when we were doing it either. Like, why are we throwing 50 yards or 30, 40 yards on 3rd and 3? Like,
if it's there, if it's there, I guess the quarterbacks are told to take it.
No.
They're trained to take it.
Not if you're Charlie Batch, you don't. Throw it to the fucking guy over the middle for 4 yards.
Like, why don't we just have all the receivers run routes that are 5 yards? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't need to have a 50-yarder.
No, I don't mind you throwing it 50 yards, but throw it on 1st or 2nd down.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I'm saying, like, on 3rd and 3.
Yeah.
Why don't we just have them all run? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
That would get annoying.
But we never did that with Ben. I felt like, or maybe Ben was just making the decision not to throw it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the difference.
He's like, you guys are assholes. I'm just going to get this little one here.
Yeah, and that's why. So,
he's the man.
Did you hear about Ben?
He's not playing. He threw again, but Batch is listed as the starter.
I think he's going to play.
You think he's going to play?
Did you listen to the Tomlin press conference? I listened to it at lunch today while I ate by myself in the car at Taco Bell.
Was it good?
It was lonely. It was alright. I don't really like Taco Bell, but that's what's around. And Tomlin said he threw yesterday on Monday, and it looked promising, but he has to prove that he's healthy enough. And I don't want to go crazy about this Batch thing. He had a great game, okay?
Yeah, but he also had a shit one.
Right. So if Ben can still come back at 70%, I think he's better than Batch.
Ben, but I don't want Ben to get messed up for the whole year, though, either.
That's right. Right. So it's kind of he says that they'll know tomorrow. And that's what they did last week. And if they want him to be like 100%, I doubt it's going to happen. But I don't want this false sense of security with Batch now. Because
I think we should be, on guard.
We lost to fucking Cleveland. That means we can fucking lose to San Diego.
Anybody, yeah.
But 7-5, we control our own destiny now, which is nice.
It's good. Like we were talking, what was that? Last week we were talking that we didn't want to have to hope that Cincinnati loses on the last game of the year. Well, now we get to go ahead and beat them on the last game of the year.
It's not the last game of the year.
Well, whatever. It's the end of the year.
They still have to play. They play Baltimore the last game of the year, which kind of pisses me off because will Baltimore sit their players? You know,
it's up to them.
That sucks that we had to play them 2 times in 2 weeks for our playoff lives. If they have to, and they're going to sit their players in the final so that Cincinnati gets in instead of us. We have to.
As long as we win, we'll be in.
We pretty much have the same schedule as them. I think
that's how it works.
They still have to play Dallas.
Who do we have to play left?
We have to play Dallas, San Diego, Cleveland, and Cincinnati.
I feel confident in all of those games.
I don't like going away, but Dallas, I don't know what the fuck Dallas is. I can't. Yeah. They're 6-6, so
they're weirder than we are.
They could be really good, or they could be shit. Same with the Giants. Can you believe
they're mostly shit?
Can you believe the Giants lost to Washington?
RG3.
We destroyed RG3.
We have a good defense.
Baltimore plays Washington next Monday night.
Washington's on Monday night 2 weeks in a row?
I think so.
That's weird.
That is weird. Maybe not. Maybe it's Sunday night.
It's Sunday night. All right. Well, I guess we're going to have to go with praying because, I don't want to be... I hate to go all in with the optimist, and I hate to be a pessimist, so I'm just going to hope. We do
need to beat them, and we do need to avoid a 3-way tie. And
with who?
With anybody.
Why?
So if the Colts still have to play the Texans twice. I was looking at this today. So if they lose 2 games, we lose 1, Cincinnati loses 1, we all come in at the same record, we'll miss the playoffs. Because instead of going to any head-to-head, it goes to the conference record. And like I already said, we already lost to Denver, Oakland, Cleveland,
so 3-way goes to conference right away? It doesn't go to head-to-head?
Right.
That's bullshit.
Right. So that would not be good either. But if we win out and beat Cincinnati, then we should be all right.
That Colts game was bullshit, too. Did you watch that game against Detroit?
Right.
Detroit is awful.
Their defense is terrible.
They, didn't even try on that drive.
How does that even happen?
I don't know. I was disgusted by it.
I know. But what I'm trying to say is maybe that's a blessing in disguise.
Why? Because they're 1 game over us.
Yeah, so we were not tied. So if they would have lost and we would have won and Cincinnati would have won, it'd be the Colts and Cincinnati in the wild card as of right now.
All right, well, San Diego coming up. You're worried about it. I think we'll be okay.
All right.
We got a new segment. Woo. A new segment that is kind of like the old segments. Whatever. We just gave it a new name. We're going to be doing some retro reviews. We're going to pick an old record and then, review it. There is no criteria. It can be from 2 years ago, 20 years ago, or 50, whatever. You want to introduce our first choice?
Yeah, you want to cue the music?
Yeah, cue the music.
Retro.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52. Born down in a dead man's town. I know just that buddy Holly. I wanna hold your hand.
Retro review.
So for the first one, we went through a couple. We didn't want to go too far back right away. So we didn't want to go back to something that we might completely swing and miss on, I guess.
Yeah.
So we went to the 90s. We kind of discussed what not only what we thought, not what we thought actually, but what the general consensus of what are the kind of the best albums of the 90s were. And we came across most consensus was Radiohead, OKComputer.
OKComputer.
Came out in 1997. And did you give it a listen? I hope.
I did. This album's great for a number of reasons. But first and foremost, it's great because it's a Radiohead album you can actually listen to and enjoy.
Yeah.
You can like this album, and because it's awesome, you could say that you like Radiohead without having to lie about it. So that's a good thing, I feel like.
What is you? Have you listened to this a lot in the past?
This album reminds me of me in 2004, 2005, like in my 2004 car.
So you went through a little phase with it?
Little phase, yeah. This is like a late fall, winter album for me. And
Perfect
I don't know if you
timing.
can picture driving around in my 89 Geo Prism with the ceiling liner ripped out, wearing a burgundy hoodie and listening to Radiohead. But God, I was so cool and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, obviously. What is your...
Sorry, I was going to say, if more girls knew I listened to this CD at that point in my life might be totally different right now.
Yeah, too bad they didn't have Facebook.
I know, what the fuck?
Should have put on your away message. No one would understand the lyrics. What do you think most people's preconception of Radiohead is?
Well, there's two different kinds of people. I think people that when they hear Radiohead they think of Creep.
Yeah.
People who when they hear Radiohead think of Thom Yorke mumbling into the microphone, dancing wildly with electronic music in the background. I think.
It feels like this is somewhere in the middle, right?
Right. That's why I love it. This is definitely somewhere in the middle. It's definitely innovative, but it's more organic and more accessible, I think, to a lot of people.
I had actually bought this album at the record store. Like, I actually paid $17 for it or whatever.
NRM.
Yeah, well, it was after the X, so it's like the last album I ever bought at a record store. And I had like a gift certificate, and it wasn't like the X music store in the mall or anything. It's that new one. I don't know what it's called, but no one buys record stores anymore.
No.
And
it
I
was
remember
a gift certificate. It wasn't a gift card. It was written on a piece of paper.
Right.
Awesome.
So I bought it just because it was just like I heard this was good, and I remember listening to it. And
so how old are you at this point? Like 16? Not even.
No, I was like 14.
Yeah.
It was before high school or freshman year of high school.
Okay.
So I remember listening to it and being like, I liked some of the songs, but I don't think I could get into it really. I think it was just I wasn't involved enough at the time. I guess that's the way I said.
At that time, like, where did you hear it was good? Like, what made you want to get it?
I think it was my cousin was talking about it, and you hear people talk about it and mumblings and
right. And that one video was on MTV.
Yeah, the Paranoid Android.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I remember watching that on MTV, and I remember, we went to like, I don't know, maybe that was later that we had like American music and all that stuff, and people like this.
This was supposed to be cool.
Right.
You were supposed to like this.
And I think one of my biggest problems back then was his voice. Do you like his voice?
I do. I like it on this album especially, because I feel that it's part of the record. It's like another instrument. The lyrics, I can't even really listen to the lyrics because you can't really hear them. But the sound is enjoyable in some way. Like, I don't know how to say it, but
I like how he straddles between his the mid range and then the falsetto. As you know, I don't know how many people know, but I got real into Bon Iver lately, and it
reminds me of that.
And it really, Bon Iver took me a minute to get used to too. I remember the first time I listened to that, I was like, "This is shit." But then I was like, "What? You just need that one moment where you're just like in the right place."
And you get it.
At the right time, and you get it. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing just comes crashing into you. And now that I listen to it all the time, like, out of all the newest music there is in the last 10 years, like new artists that have coming out since I went through high school.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be my favorite. And
so are you a more patient listener now than you were before?
I think so.
Things more of a chance.
And I think in the past, I was always so, as a self-proclaimed writer or whatever, and I was always so worried about the lyrics too, you know? So, like, all the music that I had listened to, like punk or whatever, emo or whatever you want to call them, I felt like the lyrics were always the most important part of the songs. And now I still think lyrics are very important, but now I feel like a song could just be like a moment, and it doesn't. The lyrics make sense. I mean, you don't need to know the lyrics in this kind of music, and I find that
right. It's a feeling, and it's like a poem, like a sound poem or something like that, where it just you get the emotion, you get what they're trying to say, even if you don't understand what they're saying.
Right. And I think it's kind of liberating, you know, just to immerse yourself in it without having to think about the words to sing it and all that stuff. Did you read the lyrics at all?
No. I did look at what is it? Exit music for a film.
Yeah.
Those ones, and they were a lot sadder and weirder than I wanted them to be.
Yeah, I think that song was in Romeo and Juliet.
So that tells you all you need.
And it has it's kind of like that. But I really think it's about committing suicide in a car, in a closed garage, which is some dark shit, but...
Well, I don't know, let's talk about it now. I love the song titles. And that's weird. I think, like, that's weird to me. But I think it's very important. Like, I think titles are very important, especially in these, we were talking about how the lyrics might not always be obvious or the leading part of the song, that they get you in that mood. And, like, when I used to write like 5 poems a day in my undergraduate days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the most fun part of them, and sometimes the most difficult part, was trying to come up with titles that made sense.
And were appropriate.
Yeah, that made sense thematically, but also made sense emotionally. And I feel like these song titles are like exit music for a film. That's so cool. Like, even if there wasn't any words to that song, or even if there wasn't even any music, if it was just the title, just that phrase is poetic in itself. Paranoid Android. If the fucking title rhymes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're little pieces of art that make the whole thing great, or grand, or bigger, or important, or good. I don't know what the word is, but I think that, like, it's just another element that I really enjoy personally.
What is that? So, is that what sticks out most to you? Or is it?
No.
I know it's hard to say because
It's hard to say, but like, okay, another title, Subterranean Homesick. What is
Alien.
It?
Yeah.
It's like a riff off Subterranean Homesick Blues, which is a riff off of blues songs or subterraneans or beat poems. You know, like everything.
Well, from Bob Dylan, right? Bob Dylan wrote the one.
Yeah, Bob Dylan wrote Subterranean Homesick Blues, and this is when he's like smoking weed with Alec Ginsberg. You know
right,
what I mean?
So it's influenced by...
It's one thing after another thing after another thing, and I like how that Radiohead is like at this point when that record was released, was like the artistes, you know what I mean? They were the popular artists of the minute, and how they could reach back to the popular artist of that minute and still take something and make it totally theirs.
And I think they did that a lot. I think you could... There's a lot of different influences throughout the whole thing. And I was reading up on it a little bit, and they have like, oh, this is what there's interviews and what they were listening to it when they were recording it and stuff, and they said, "Oh, we were kind of." What were they listening to?
Yeah.
I don't know. They were reading some book. I mean, supposedly Paranoid Android is supposed to be some kind of Queen. Like, it's supposed to be like Bohemian Rhapsody a little bit, but like a completely different take on it. And then, so they go in, and then Greenwood would then be in charge of getting all the atmospherics and the orchestral and the wall of sound and everything to make it into what it is.
So they took like an idea or like a theme or a story, and then it was now tell that through sound.
Right. And they're like, well, this is what we were thinking of. And like sometimes he takes stuff from his lyrics and stuff, but it's like they wanted to feel like that one thing that they were doing at that time, which is great. And I just think that the whole thing is beautiful, and I really do. I would be the one that says, fuck Radiohead, Like I said, I bought this one in the late 90s, and I didn't really listen to it. And then I remember in college, I downloaded Kid A.
Yeah.
And I was like, this fucking sucks. I didn't have Pablo Honey or the Bends.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I had it, but I was like, I'll give it another try,
Yeah.
And I didn't have that background.
So now that we did this little thing, and you spent the whole week listening to OKComputer, are you excited to listen to the Bends now?
Yes, I am. I genuinely have a whole new respect for what they were doing, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I know what's there. I mean, I've listened to Kid A,
yeah,
like once, or twice,
right,
and I've listened to like Hail to the Thief, and I've listened to that new one. What's that? Lotus Flower or something.
But I think after this record especially is when they were in the mode of they didn't care. They weren't trying to be appealing. And they probably, even for this one, they weren't trying to be appealing, and it just worked out. But, so, they were writing music for themselves and for their fans, and now that you have, like, maybe more of an understanding of where they were coming from or where they've been, I think that those things are going to be more accessible going forward.
And I love when this kind of stuff happens. Like, I find something from the past that I just... all of a sudden, it's just like, I get it finally.
Yeah.
And I feel like it wasn't my place to get it then.
No,
because,
that's not a 13-year-old record.
Right. And I think if I did like it then, or even in high school, I don't think I could appreciate it as much as I do now. They started their band in 1985. That's when I was born. So, like, by the time they wrote this album,
they were your age.
Yeah. They were 27, 28, 30.
That's what I mean. They're your age now. So it wasn't a Blink-182 album about getting drunk and walking around with your pants down. It was... And
that's one of the reasons why I liked Bright Eyes, I think, so much in high school, because he wrote those albums when he was our age.
Yeah.
As we grew up.
Yeah, I understood exactly what he was saying. Even, like, if the lyrics didn't make sense, again, it was emotionally. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. So,
we both liked it.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song on the album?
I like Exit Music for a Film, and what was the one right after it? Like, Let It Go or something?
Yeah.
I like those two together. I have to listen to those two together.
I really like them all. Did you have a problem with skip it? Did you even have an urge to skip around?
No, and I felt that you probably weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a record. It's an album.
I really like the first song a lot.
Yeah, it sort of gets you. I was going to say that too. It gets you into it.
And it introduces you to the way that they were going to go about it. And I feel like the music on this album kind of sounds like stuff that is going on now, and they probably have a big part of it, and that they're probably a big reason why people do that now.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was thinking too. If this record came out this month, it would be top 10.
But the thing is, it came out 15 years ago, and just that fact is just.
And just now is popular music getting around to
what they had done. My favorite song is climbing up the walls.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that song, but I could just hit repeat on that all day. Like,
why?
I don't know.
Tell me why.
Because it comes. I just like the mood it sets. It's like this ominous mood, and it comes in with that tom. It comes in with a tom every once in a while.
Yeah.
And then it has the electronic part when it's like.
What does the tom do for you? Does it like bring you back, or is it like grounding, or is it build this like a sense?
It's almost like it's like I don't know, a bonfire kind of like song. Like everyone's around it and they're like hitting it like some kind of ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and then he comes in and it's mostly all falsetto and on that song. And they put like a little distortion on his voice. And it's just, I think it's just about being mentally not right. And like, he's like, and he says like, he's like, I am what this is to you. And then he was like, no matter what, I'll be in your head. No matter what, I'll be in your head. And it's just like this thing. And then it keeps on building up. And then at the very end, the chorus ends with, I'm climbing up the walls. And then he just starts screaming at the end. I don't know why it hit home so well. It was just the first time I heard it too. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Right. Everything
it's
about
like a
it.
Complete thing.
Yeah, and it
the
like
whole song from beginning to end, it has a purpose. And
it like seeps into you, and it gradually grows and grows and grows until it culminates, and then it just like slowly dies off with feedback in the background, and then that's it. And then No Surprises comes in right after it. So I kind of feel like it's a little bit. It has a happier. I think No Surprises is. I think most of it is dark material, but No Surprises has a happier guitar riff, and it has like the little mandolin in the background. And
I'm glad that we did this one because, like we were just talking about, I mean, Radiohead has a connotation to it, and it's just nice to not live up to the stereotype that I have given it.
I agree.
More recently,
I was very pleasantly surprised at what it was and what it meant to me when I listened to it. And that doesn't come across a lot of the time, you know?
Right. It's not pretentious.
No.
It's very real, and it's very grounded, and it's a complete thought. Like, they put thought into it and they executed it. And a lot of artists now today, even like the ones that are popular, or even the ones that, like the indie ones that are popular, a lot of them, I think they just have like one cool idea instead of a complete piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what I heard a lot of? I love Brand New. I mean,
yep, that was what I was going to say when you wrote that question of what does it remind you of? It's definitely The Devil and God.
It's like, and it's like their whole career too. It's like he almost said, "This is what we should do," and not like copy Radiohead, but try to evolve as we move. And if we go down the wrong road, we come back and go another way.
Yeah.
And I really and I could get, and I don't know, I feel like it was like kind of like a God complex kind of stuff too. In some of the words, and from both bands, where they're like, in a Paranoid Android, like, I'm going to put you up against the wall. You'll be the first one against the wall, and then your opinion won't matter anything at all or whatever. And he's like,
well, and they're artists, and they're creating this thing and then putting it out there. So, I mean, a God complex, I think, makes total sense and is totally understandable, and it's something worth writing about.
right, like in an interstellar burst, I'm back to save the universe. Like, I don't think that's what it means, but at the same time, it's like they push off this confidence,
Yeah.
which I think is a lot of times is vital for rock music. Like if you whether that's what they mean or not, or what it means, however you interpret it, like if you're going with new criticism, once it's out there, it's not the artist's anymore. You know, you take those words, and if you can justify that those words mean this thing, then those words mean that thing. And I think they do a great job of that. Like, I feel like 100 different people could read the words, and 100 different people will have a different meaning for what it is. I think more... You ever go to the website Song Meanings?
Yeah, that's where I go to get my lyrics, because they're always right, because the people are always changing them.
Yeah, and I think...
There's no ads. I've never gotten a virus from Song Meanings.
Right, and I've been going there since high school, and I used to read what people thought about it, and then I didn't anymore, because I don't care. And I think that's part of growing up, too. You don't care what things mean to other people, you care what it means to yourself. But in this case, since we were doing this, I went down and looked at some of the comments, at what people thought that it meant.
Are they still in chronological order?
Yeah, I was looking on my phone at work, and they only gave you 25. But yeah, they are. So like, if you go back, you could go all the way back to 19 or whenever the website started. Yeah, and it's like, and it is great to see how many different emotions one song can bring out, like separate emotions, like happiness versus being scared or whatever,
Anger or frustration. Yeah.
What do you think their goal was with this album?
Their goal was to define themselves, I think, especially after Creep and whatnot.
I think it was that, and I think it was a little bit more general too. I feel like they tried to put the 90s and what, as they approach the millennium, into the record. Like, it feels like it gets more and more electronic as it goes. I feel like they feel more and more alienated as it goes. And I feel like they tried to sum up all their feelings as it approached this whole new time. I mean, I think people forget how big 2000 was, you know?
It was scary.
Yeah.
It was scary. And this is interesting because at work, we're doing modernism right now. Like, we're teaching modernism.
Right.
And this came out right at the turn of the 20th century. And it had to do, like, right after World War I, when we just built all these, like, science technology was pumping forward, and then we used it to kill each other.
Right.
So all modernism is about trying to reason or trying to navigate your way through a more complex world. And it's funny how at the turn of the next century, it came back around again with like the Y2K thing, and now how we're isolated on computers and phones and everything. And like the world is more complex again.
Right. And I think the weakest part of the record is that song in the middle, or the poem in the middle that the computer talks.
Fitter, happier.
Yeah. But I think what he was trying to portray was that is what we have become. Like, we're fitter now, happier. You can't have carbohydrates.
Yeah.
You can't, like, he's like, what have we become? This is what we are now.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
We are because we programmed ourselves this way, and you can hear it. Like, we're obviously programmed. It was a computer program reading it.
Right.
Brilliant.
For Y2K, my dad filled up like 8 jugs of water and put them in the basement.
That was gonna do it. Why
We
did
had
you
that-
bother, man?
No food, just a bunch of jugs of water in case the water
He was gonna
supply.
go kill the neighbors for food. The water was for survival. Your dad's Crazy.
I know. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, you'll be sorry if we don't have this. And the funniest part was he did it on January 1st. So it had already been January 1st in like Japan for the last 12 hours. I'm like, Dad, if it would have happened, it would have happened by now.
Australia's cool.
Yeah.
We're cool.
So it would have already happened to them before it happened to us. But hey.
Whatever. Well, this was fun. I like doing this. We should do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
If anybody has any suggestions, let us know. I mean, we have a bunch that we can go through, but
yeah,
it's always nice to hear from people.
If anything means a lot to somebody and would like to hear a fucking fucked up opinion on it.
If anything means a lot to somebody, you might not want to suggest it because we'll shit all over it. But if you would like to hear, please share.
Oh, well, we
All
are...
right, we'll stop it there. Have a good week, everybody. Go Steelers.
Wake from your sleep, the drying of your tears. Today we escape, we escape. Pack and get dressed before your father hears us, before all hell breaks loose. Keep breathing. Don't lose your nerve. Breathe. Keep breathing. I can't do this alone. Sing us a song to keep us warm. There's such a chill, such a chill. Let you choke, let you choke.